All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this live practice session for NABARD Grade B examination. If my audio is clear to you and the screen is visible to you, kindly let me know in the chat section. Um, so this session is being simultaneously conducted on YouTube as well as Zoom. So this first session. All right, Anjali. Good afternoon. All of you kindly ping me. Yes, screen would be clear in a while. Yes, sir. All of you. So yes, I hope now there is clarity. For YouTube, people who are live on YouTube, kindly let me know in the chat section if the audio is clear to you as well. Okay. G. Tehara, is the screen visible now? Dr. M, is the screen visible to all of you now? Muskan, is the screen visible? All right. For YouTube students, kindly let me know in the chat section if you can listen to me properly, if everything is clear. All right. Thank you for the people on Zoom. Thanks a lot. All right. All right. All right. Okay. So clear audio. Great. So now let's begin. This is going to be a great session for you. Very much help you're going to get from here after this. So definitely stay tuned. So the first session is free for our all YouTube viewers. For all the paid students, kindly pay attention because it is going to benefit you a lot. So NABARD Grade A Phase 2 examination, live practice session, and today we are focusing on economic and social issues. To start with, we'll start on a light note. We'll be taking descriptive, not descriptive, descriptive is for later days. We'll be taking objective questions and we will be focusing today on social issues. From tomorrow onwards, classes on other subjects would begin, like economy and other parts of your syllabus. Today, we are focusing on social issues. And for all the paid students, I know that we have studied a lot during our phase 1 as well. I know that we have taken comprehensive classes. So, we'll not be repeating the comprehensive stuff. What we will be focusing on here today is MCQs. I will ask you questions around which concepts are important and the concept clarity which you already have got. So what this will help you, this session will help you in attaining muscle memory regarding the concepts that we have already studied. All right. So all the very best. Just type your answers in the chat section. We have 2 hours with us. Then we'll move on to another session. 2 hours time and we will be covering 40 questions here. That makes 40 questions. That is 5 questions from each part of the syllabus. So focus areas today would be multiculturalism, population and demographic trends, urbanization and migration, gender issues, social justice, social movements, human development, rural banking, and financial institutions. So these topics, they cover social issues part of your syllabus. They come under ESI and they cover social issues part of the syllabus. So these topics will be taken. The rest of the topics of social issues, for example, Indian political system, which is the most important, that will be taken tomorrow, and the left out topics will be taken tomorrow. All right. If you have any any questions from your side, any queries from your side before beginning this session, kindly let me know in the chat section. I am open to taking queries for some time right now, and then we're beginning with the class itself. Okay, so is this paid class? No, Nishant, this is not a paid class. This class is free. For paid classes, you'll have to subscribe with us. You'll have to buy the course. This is, for paid students, this is available. The entire course is available for phase 2, but for YouTube, the first class is live or free of cost. All right, so let's begin, and I will be giving you a certain set of questions, and kindly let me know in the chat section the answers. After that, I'll display the answer, and also I'll explain you the relevant concept side by side. Anshu, are these topics important for descriptive also? Is it helpful for those students who have skipped ESI static? Tarun, if you have skipped ESI static in phase one, kindly go back to the lectures which were recorded. And regarding the preparation, Anshu and all, kindly, I'll take these doubts at the end of the session. Strategy doubts will be taken at the end of the session. All right. So let's begin, and I will display the first question. The questions, the difficulty of the questions will keep rising. So as we move on to 5 p.m., the difficulty of the questions will keep on rising. And please remember, do not get overwhelmed by the questions that you see. Darna nahi hai. Don't be scared of that, oh my God, I do not know answer to this. Take this as an opportunity for yourself to learn. I understand a lot of concept clarity cannot be developed in the few days that we have right now, but take this opportunity to learn at least whatever is being displayed on the slides, whatever everyone else is learning. So don't be scared. Learning के लिए है ये session जो है, and improve yourself with the help of this. All right, so remember all this. Yes, only objective questions today. For descriptive questions we'll have separate classes. I'll take separate classes with you. What is difference between paid and YouTube classes? Aslam, this will become clear at the end of the session. This is first class of our paid course for phase 2. So the first class as a demo is free for you. It is freely available on YouTube. I hope there is clarity around that. So now kindly, you have to type your answer A, B, C, D in the chat section. We don't have option E here in this particular question. So let me read this out for you. Which of the following is not true regarding payment banks? So see, regional rural banking is part of your syllabus, and payment banks, they have been playing a key role in establishing a banking system across the country. So first one, option A, they cannot give loans. Second, they can issue credit cards. Option C, can accept demand deposits only, that is savings and current accounts. D, cannot accept time deposits like FDs, RDs, etc. So kindly let me know your answers in the chat section. Okay, so B, C, okay. Many of you were writing A. B, C, all right. So I'll not be taking names of all the answers that you're typing, but I will display the answer. So YouTube students, I see many of you live. Kindly let me know in the chat section what is your answer. Then we'll proceed to the next question. All right. Aslam says B. Devashi says C. So the answer to this question is basically B. Why B is the answer? See, banking system is not very much penetrable in your country. Banking penetration is not very high in your country. So the government has come out with a lot of initiatives from time to time. And one of the initiatives to increase banking penetration in the country is payments bank. But they cannot operate like normal banks under all circumstances. There are some restrictions. And the first restriction is that anything that gives credit to people, credit in the form of loan, credit in the form of credit card. For example, credit card, what it does, it gives you money for a certain period of time, and then you have to return it later. Loan also does the same thing. It gives you money for a certain period of time, and then you have to return later. So these facilities, credit giving facilities, are not allowed with payment banks. So the answer would be they cannot advance loans, which is the right answer. They can issue credit cards. That is the wrong answer, as I explained you. Can accept demand deposits only, that is savings and current accounts. That means they can keep your deposits. They can keep your money as deposits. That's why they're known as banks. Cannot accept time deposits like FDs, RDs, or long-term deposits or time deposits. That's also the right answer. All right. So the PDF for this discussion will be available on our Telegram channel. The people on Zoom, they will get it separately. So kindly download it from there and read this, full information for yourself. Also, NRI deposits cannot be accepted by payments bank. So I'll not be reading this out because I've explained this to you. Let's proceed to the next question. And this is a very simple one. When we start studying banking system or regional rural banking, this is one of the first concepts that we study. Which of the following is the first bank to be established in India? Oh my God, established in India in the year 1770. See, I see a lot of answers in like Zoom chat and YouTube as well. So it is good that you know answer to this, but don't just focus on these focus on the answers, focus on the year also. So in case in your exam you are asked that Which was the year in which the Bank of Hindustan, which is your answer, which is your correct answer for the day, that this was the first bank to be established in India. When was it established? Please remember the year as well. It was 1770. All right. So the Bank of Hindustan was the first bank to be established in India in 1770. So these were two very easy questions, very simple, very old questions. Now from here on, the level of questions that will increase. And since we are covering social issues today, so your conceptual knowledge will be put to check. All right. In packs related to agricultural credit, what does S stand for? So you know that okay, so A stands A section, B society, C service, D social, and E none of the above. Packs, what does it do? It provides rural credit for farmers, people who are involved in agriculture. So what does A stand for? What does S stand for in packs? Everybody is writing B. People on YouTube also, they're writing B. See, if you're typing answers on YouTube, guys, type the question number. For example, if you're answering this question as B, type 3B, because on YouTube we get some lag. On Zoom, I am like communicating in real time, so I get to know which answer is for which question. But for YouTube, kindly type the question number as well. All right. So yes, most of you are correct. The in PAX, S stands for society. And the full form of this PAX is Primary Agriculture Credit Society. So basically, it dates back to 1904. It was one of the first corporate. It was when one of the first Cooperative Societies Act was passed. It was what did PAX do, or what does it do till this day? That it provides cheap credit to farmers. Farmers need money in the form of money for buying seeds, for buying fertilizers, for carrying out agriculture. So if they are able to get ready money before the cropping cycle, then they can return that money after the cropping cycle. So to fill that gap, PAX is actually functioning in this area. Now moving on to another easy question. LAMS, one of the cooperative society, works for which of the following sections of community? A, BPL, B, scheduled caste, C, tribals, D, women, and E, none of the above. So I see a lot of answers on Zoom, and are you copying each other's answers? Because everybody is giving the same answer, and which is right. For students on YouTube, kindly let me know the answer to this. Type 4 and your answer option. LAMPS, which is one of the cooperative society. Your PAX is also cooperative society. LAMPS, one of the cooperative society, works for which of the following sections of community? BPL, scheduled caste, tribals, women, or none of the above. So the answer for question 4 is C, that is tribals. All right. Answer is C here. And this LAMPS, it stands for, since it works for tribals, so mention of the word tribals would be there in its full form. So large sized Adivasi multi-purpose cooperative societies. These societies, they operate. Where would they operate? In hilly and tribal areas where tribal population is high. And the main objectives are to provide all types of credit, to provide money to tribals. Credit means to provide small loans to tribals, including those for meeting social obligations. Social obligations could be marriage, it could be, a childbirth, and consumer requisites under single roof. In like they don't have to go to multiple organizations. Provide technical guidance in the intensification and modernization of agriculture, since we know that tribals, many of the tribals practice jhum or shifting agriculture, or they're not aware of advanced agricultural techniques, or they do not have the credit available to buy advanced agricultural tools. So LAMPS is filling all the voids there to supply inputs and essential commodities, to arrange for marketing of agriculture and minor forest products. So all that is taken care of by LAMPS. What are minor forest products? Any one of you kindly let me know in the chat section. What is minor forest produce? Yes, it is large area Adivasi multi-purpose cooperative societies. It is not large area, it is large sized. A stands for Adivasi here. Virat. Fuel wood, honey, resin, non-woody, non-timber. So basically, people who are living in forest, or people who are tribals, where do they get their, how do they earn money? They don't practice any commercial level of agriculture, since, they don't know how to do that. What they do is they collect forest produce. Forest produce could be gum, resin, it could be honey, and then they want to sell it because they've collected something from the forest, and then they sell it in the market. So for that product which are collected from the forest, it could be a little timber as well. These are known as minor forest products. That's where they get their money or earning from. It could be wild spices, gum, resin. Yes, that's right. Bark could be there. Yes, Rohit. Ezil, that's right. So now moving on to the next question, and this is what I've taught you during your phase 1 preparation. The Krasi-Fard Committee, appointed by RBI under the chairmanship of B. Sivaraman in 1979, considered the desirability and the feasibility of establishing a National Bank for Rural Development, that is NABARD. It has to be in capitals here. Kindly excuse me for that. In the context of integrated rural development, what does D stand for in Krasi-Fard? I think this should be a very easy question for you. What is the full form of this committee, or what does D stand for in Krasi-Fard? See, such questions are asked in your NABARD exam. So basically, B. Sivaraman Committee, that was the committee on the recommendation of which NABARD was set up. So most of the answers coming here are B. Yes, Aslam, that's right. Without disturbing the original habitat. Yes, Sejal. Let's look at the answer here. The answer here is development, that is B. So the full form of committee is the committee to review the arrangements for institutional credit for agricultural and rural development. And it was the chairmanship of that committee, or the chairman of that committee, was Mr. B. Sivaraman, and it was appointed in 1979. See, if any questions from ESI static will be asked. Today we are not covering ESI current affairs. They will be taken in separate sessions. These are, if you see any questions from ESI static, this is a highly expected question there. All right, anything with regards to this committee can be asked. Now we'll move on to human development. Which of the following is not a component of multidimensional poverty index? Multidimensional poverty index has been in news multiple times this year, many a times this year. So kindly let me know in the chat section. What is your answer? Okay. Option A, health. Option B, education. Option C, gross national product. D, asset. And E, electricity. So most of the answers are coming for C, that is gross national product. That is obviously not a component of multidimensional poverty index. Multidimensional poverty index does calculate what people are earning on the basis of what kind of life they are living. So the correct answer is C. It is MPI, or multidimensional poverty index, means that poverty is not, caused by people. It does not happen to people out of somewhere. So there are multiple factors for it, and poverty is not a unidimensional approach. You cannot count it in just financial terms. There are other terms also in which poverty has to be calculated, and hence there are 3 dimensions, that is education, health, and standard of living. So as you can see, health, education, and in standard of living, you have multiple parts, and under which standard of living is measured. That is electricity, pakka floor or flooring, drinking water, sanitation, cooking fuel, and assets, which have, different weightage for each asset. So yes, electricity is covered and assets are covered. So if people have electricity connection, then they're not considered multidimensionally poor. If they have assets for them, cooking fuel for them, then there are various parameters to calculate multidimensional poverty index. Kindly remember that gross national product is not a part of multidimensional poverty index, and not even GDP is a part of that. So the next question is, which of the following are considered to be the 4 pillars of development? Very important for you. Which of the following are considered to be the 4 pillars of development? The first one is equity, inclusion, productivity, and empowerment. Second, equity, productivity, empowerment, and sustainability. Third, productivity, gender, inclusion, and equity. Fourth, that is option D, labor, productivity, inclusion, and equity, and E, none of the above. So for option number 7, kindly let me know in the chat section, all YouTube users, what are your answers? So a lot of confusion regarding this. And see, whenever we talk about such 4 pillars, obviously they're coming from some report or some, index that has been popular. So this is your human development part of the syllabus. So in human development, have you read about some report which talks about 4 pillars of development, or any sustainable development goals that you have read? So the answer to this question is B. That is equity, productivity, empowerment, and sustainability. For those of you who feel that why inclusion is not a part, inclusion is considered a part of equity itself. Having equity means kind of including everybody in the path to establishing equality in the society. So equity, productivity, empowerment, and sustainability, they are pillars of human development. So what is human development? It can be described as a process of enlarging opportunities improving the well-being and livelihood of people. So these are 4 parameters. I'll explain them to you. Equity means providing what? Providing equal resources to everybody, or providing equal opportunities to everybody. Not in real terms. In real terms, it means that if there is a set of population who does not have a pakka house, then you don't start distributing pakka houses to the entire country or to the entire state. What you do is you treat these people who do not have access to pakka houses, you treat them differently than others. And if you want to establish equality, then what you do, you give pakka houses to only these people who are deprived of pakka houses. That is your equity. That means you can give some amount of special treatment to deprived sections of society. That means you will include them. So it means giving equal access to opportunities available. How do you do that? By bringing some special measures irrespective of their gender, race, income, and caste. Productivity means productivity in terms of human work can be defined. And empowerment, obviously you understand that everybody should have the opportunity to grow equally, in terms of economically and socially. And sustainability, that everyone must get the same amount of opportunities to have sustainable development. That means which they can carry forward in the long run. You don't provide them jobs for let's say 2 months only. You actually equip them with the skills so that they can be empowered in the long run. That is, sustainability should be there in whatever human development you are carrying out. So equity, productivity, empowerment, and sustainability, these are the 4 options. Now, very important and very easy question. The Human Development Index was developed by Dash in 1990. For those of you who know the answer to this, kindly note the year that it was developed in 1990. Option A, Paul Krugman and Mehboob Khan. Option B, Mehboobul Haq and Amartya Sen. Option C, Jean Reyes and Apara Sen. Option D, Alfred Marshall and Syedul Haq. And option E, Adam Smith and John Keynes. So most of the answers on Zoom, they are for option B. All right. YouTube, for people who are watching this on YouTube, kindly let me know your answer. So yes, the answer is B. So yes, Human Development Index, it focuses on 3 indicators, 3 parameters. So it was developed by Mehboobul Haq and Amartya Sen in 1990. Basically, it is a statistical tool. HDI is released as part of your Human Development Report every year, and it is released by UNDP, that is United Nations Development Program. In our current affairs sessions, you will be taught HDR or HDI, latest HDI statistics. It is basically a statistical tool to measure countries' overall development. So what is the kind or level of development in your country, that is measured with the help of HDI. And again, as I told you, it is released as part of HDR. HDI index or rankings are released. All right. Again, what are the 3 parameters there? Health, level of education, and standard of living. And we have seen what is the division on all these 3 parameters in the previous slide. All right. So the next question is sustainable development. This is going to be a tough one. Sustainable development is described as the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. In this perspective, inherently, the concept of sustainable development is intertwined with which of the following concepts? The first option is basically, let me explain this to you before I get to the options. That sustainable development, that means you develop in today's time. You basically take from the nature whatever you need, but you also save for future generations so that the development of today does not hamper the existence of future generations. So what is the basic concept behind this, on which sustainable development is relying on? The first one is social justice and empowerment. This seems correct to me. The second one is inclusive growth. Again, this seems correct to me. Option C is globalization. Yes, everybody has to come together under the process of globalization to carry out sustainable development. So this also seems correct. The fourth is carrying capacity. That is option D. And the fifth one is E. That is none of the above. So there are answers that I'm getting B, D, A, C. All right. For option number 9, the maximum answers that I'm getting is carrying capacity, which is your option number D, and that is the correct answer. What do we understand by carrying capacity? Carrying capacity means, let's say this is a patch of land. It has some forest. It has some agriculture field. It has a river flowing, not directly to the agriculture field, but it has a river flowing. It has some mountains. So basically, what are the resources here? Air, water, land, These are the basic resources. So let's say the air, water, and land which are present on this particular land, they can support just 1,000 people. Now, if I push 10,000 people here, what will happen? The buildings, the houses which were there, which were just, small huts, they will try to be, multi-story buildings. They will try to accommodate more and more people in a small amount of land. Water consumption, water will get polluted because a lot of waste will be generated. There will be air pollution, there will be noise pollution. That means more people than the carrying capacity of land or resources, they are actually living there, they are sustaining there. So carrying capacity means take into account nature. Look at the capacity of nature in the present scenario, that how much pressure can the nature carry at present. Only then, if you give it adequate amount of pressure, no, not too less, not too high, only then it will be able to feed the coming generations. That means sustainable development will only be possible only if the carrying capacity of nature is kept in mind before any development is carried out. So basically, the concept of sustainable development, this is very important. It was defined by the Brundtland Commission report. Who was Brundtland? He was the head of Norway. So he was very much into, environment and sustainable development. So he was appointed as the chairman of, this commission, and he released a report. That commission actually released a report which talked about sustainable development, that we carry out development for today and we also save for future generations. That is from where all the environmental protection acts and everything with regards to saving environment for future is coming from. It talks about carrying capacity, that the maximum population size that an ecosystem can support in a sustainable manner without degrading itself is termed as the carrying capacity of that ecosystem. You can talk about it in terms of resources. All right. So now moving on to the next question, and we'll be covering 1/4 of our discussion today with the end of this question. Making equal access to opportunities available to everybody refers to, again, this is a very simple one. For the first session, we've kept very, very simple questions. It refers to empowerment, productivity, equity, sustainability, or none of the above. Option A, B, C, D, or E. So most of you are, Ponabi, why do you think that it is sustainability? Making equal access to opportunities available to everybody refers to. So for example, to get admission in a very prestigious university, there is a student A who has actually studied in a convent school, knows how to talk in English, knows actually 3 languages, can talk in 3 languages, had access to all the facilities, books, stationery, good education. There is a person B who comes from a rural background. His family could not afford, his proper schooling. So, access to admission to these universities. Do you think A and B have the same level of access to admission to these to the university? No, they don't have, because B comes from a very poor background. His family could not afford his education, but A comes from a very good background. So once one of them graduates from this university, one of them will be sitting in a, let's say an MNC, or at a very high paying job, or will be developing his own business on a very large scale. So entry into this university should be equal for all. That means access to opportunities should be equal. And how do you ensure that? You basically give some special treatment to B. That could be reservation, as you have the EWS quota in your jobs right now. So this special treatment, that is considered a part of what? Empowerment, productivity, equity, sustainability, or none of the above. What is it considered a part of? All right, Arpita, kindly make it clear. What is it? Yes, okay, I understand your no. So the answer to this is equity. That is option number C. So again, it is, based on the concept of human development. Again, for the 3rd time, I'm repeating this because this is very important for your exam. It is based on 4 pillars. What is human development based on? Equity, productivity, empowerment, and sustainability. Sustainability, we have just read. Empowerment, we have seen that empowering somebody with the right skills, with the right education, so that that person is able to lead an independent life for times to come. That is empowerment. And productivity means productive opportunities, productive in terms of human work. These things must be constantly enriched in the countries and on the global level. So I hope all these 4 pillars are clear to you. Now, coming to the social movements part. And this is going to take a lot of questions because this is a very important part of your syllabus. So, who among the following was associated with Bishnoi movement? A. Amrita Devi, B. Gaura Devi, C. Govind Singh Rawat, D. Shamsher Singh Bisht, and E. Anna Hazare. Let me know in the chat section what answer do you want to send. K. Akshay, do you think B is the right answer? Okay. So, what was the Bishnoi movement, all of you? What was it about? All of you who are typing answers, what was the Bishnoi movement about? See, most of the movements that we have, that we will be covering today, or which are a part of your syllabus, they have been regarding saving environment. Many of the movements we've studied in our phase one examination course as well, crash course, and many of the left out movements we will be covering today. So most of these have been to protect the environment. One of them was to, safeguard Indian democracy against rising corruption. That will also be taken in the form of a question today. So yes, to prevent felling of trees, to prevent deforestation in the area. Bisnois, they basically are a community in western area of Rajasthan. This is your Rajasthan. So we call this area of Rajasthan as western area. Here you have Indo-Pak border. So in the western area of Rajasthan, Bisnois are a very, peace-loving community, and they stay in they stay happily in the natural environment, and they considered it their moral duty to protect nature and all its living beings. So they do not like violence. So when they realized that the local king, he wanted to actually get the forest cut down, so they actually went out, and they were protesting to save the trees. So this movement was led by Amrita Devi. She had to die. She died in the protest, and she lost her three daughters in the protest as well. More than 300 people died in the protest. So this was not a peaceful protest. A lot of people died during it. So prominent leader here was Amrita Devi. Many of them were women who were involved in Bishnoi movement, as you can see the pictures here. And aim of the movement was to protect the trees from being felled on the orders of Maharaja of Jodhpur. He wanted to build a new palace in this forest, so these trees were being cut. So basically, something that you have to remember: this Bishnoi movement, it was started by Seth Sambhaji around 1700 AD against deforestation, and it was taken forward by Amrita Devi. Around 363 people from the Bishnoi community were killed in the protest, and basically a lot of sacrifices had to be made. And later on, the palace was not created. The forest actually was saved. Now, question number 12. Which Bishnoi is a tribal community, I think. Yes, Ponabi, that is a tribal community. Saurabh, I'll come to that later. Yes, Arpita, that's right. Hug the tree and protect it from falling. Which of the following was started in 1973 to save the evergreen tropical forest in the Palakkad district of Kerala, India, from being flooded by a hydroelectric project? Now, one of the similar moments that we studied about was the Narmada Bachao Andolan. I taught that to you in the phase one examination. So I hope all the paid students, you remember that. The leaders involved, the leaders from social movements, they are very important. So the option A is Chipko movement, B Apiko movement, C Silent Valley movement, D Jangal Bachao Andolan, E Narmada Bachao Andolan. So Narmada Bachao Andolan, Narmada does not flow in Kerala. Narmada actually, where does it flow? It follows through middle part of India and into Gujarat and then into the Arabian Sea. All right. So Kerala is somewhere here. Obviously, Narmada Bachao Andolan cannot be the right option. Chipko movement was to save trees, and Chipko movement was not in Kerala. Apiko movement, if I can relate, yes, it was somewhere in South India, but again, it was not. This is not something regarding hydroelectric project was not involved in the Apiko movement. So two options left with me are Silent Valley movement and Jangal Bachao Andolan. So out of these, yes, Virat, that's right, Anjali and Virat. So out of these, I have to choose one option. So now let me know in the chat section what is your answer. Many of you are writing option number C as the answer. So yes, which topic are you talking about, Priya? Yes, Silent Valley movement is basically your right answer. That is option number C. So the year was 1973, and see, whenever any hydroelectric project is being created, for example, evergreen tropical forest, where are they found? They're found in Western Ghats. Evergreen tropical forests are found in Western Ghats. So from there, you can get an idea that, Silent Valley, again, it is there near Western Ghats. You can get an idea that this was a movement. Silent Valley movement is the answer to this. So whenever some dam or hydroelectric power project is being generated, first of all, it actually destroys the local biodiversity, because let's say a river is flowing and a dam is constructed and then the water is being filled. Yes, electricity will be generated, but this water, the natural flow of this water will be stopped. So the low lying areas, they suffer a lot, earthquakes occur a lot, and to create this dam, a lot of trees which are on the bedside of the river, which are on the side of the river, they are also cut. So many people who are local inhabitants of these rivers, they never want any hydroelectric projects to be created or to be generated. So Silent Valley and evergreen tropical forest in Palakkad district of Kerala, India. That is the place. Please remember that. This, and the NGO involved was Kerala Sastra Sahitya Parishad. And the poet activist who was the leader here, Sugatha Kumari. She played an important role in Silent Valley protest. So basically, in order to protect the Silent Valley, the moist evergreen forest from being destroyed by a hydroelectric project, because these are very old trees, very old forests. And again, I think I've made this very clear to you that to stop the hydroelectric power project from being constructed, which was later stopped. So this protest was being this movement was launched. Now again, from your social justice point of view, this is a very important report. Towards Equality report was published in the dash year. First of all, let me know in the chat section, what is Towards Equality report about? This is not a recent report. It is not an annual publication. And in which year was it released? Okay, Anjali. Steffi Tej, I think your video is on. This movement topic. Yes, Priya, this topic is very important. Social movements is very important from your syllabus point of view. Yes, questions, if they are asked from ESI static questions are very few in number. But if they are not the entire portion, you will be asked a lot of questions from economy. From social movements, if the questions will be asked, they will be from social movements, Indian political system, and all the questions that we are covering today. They will remain important for your exam. Ma'am, all right. For those of you whose videos are on, I think I have pinned myself. But again, kindly, don't share your screens right now. Don't share your cameras right now on Zoom, because it might be troubling or disturbing the other person. All right. So the answer to this, many of you, kindly let me know the answer to this. And if you know about this report, kindly type in the chat section. So for answer number 13, many of you are typing the option A. Arpita is typing option C. Yes, Anjali, that is right. This was on women empowerment. It was on status of women. Towards equality, the first equality that we talk about is between men and women. And from there, we study all aspects of society. So Towards Equality report, this was actually released by Government of India, Ministry of Education and Social Welfare, as it was then. Now we have a separate Ministry of Education and a separate, Social Welfare Department. This was report on the Committee on the Status of Women in India. This was known as Towards Equality, and it was launched in the year 1974. See, this report, it actually highlighted the state of women in the country, that they were such a deprived section of society. They were not having equal access to education, health, or basic sanitation facilities. This report also recommended that what should be done in the country to improve their status. Most importantly, the Uniform Civil Code, which has been in news recently, this report also recommended that UCC, Uniform Civil Code, will play a key role in protecting gender rights or rights of women, and this should be implemented as it is given in our constitution also in Article 44. So Towards Equality was the title of the report of the what was the committee? Some set of people have to come together. An individual person cannot write a report, such long report. Some people have to be there doing the ground research. Some people have to provide their expert opinion. So all that group was known as a committee, and Committee on the Status of Women in India, that was created by Government of India. And in 1974, they released a report which was known as towards equality. All right. And it was the year is important. If you remember the year, just remember why this report was important. And it not just focused on the problems, it also gave solutions. All right. Now, Anna Hazare, I think this is the easiest question for all of you. A prominent social activist is associated with point A, anti-reservation protest, B, Namantaran Andolan, C, anti-mandal agitation, D, India against corruption campaign, and E, Bachpan Bachao Andolan. So let me know in the chat section, what is your answer? Many of you are going with option A. For those of you who are sending your answers on YouTube, kindly type the question number also. Anna Hazare, a prominent social activist, is associated with which of the following movements? Anti-reservation protest, Namantran Andolan, anti-mandal agitation, India against corruption campaign, and Bachpan Bachao Andolan. Okay, so for Sejal is typing the answer D, Deepak also D. Meditation says C, Manish Sonwane D, Arpita Singh D. So yes, Rahul, I'll come to that. So Rahul, it's for social movements. So the correct answer to this question is D. Basically, Lokayukta and Lokpal. Your government carries out your day-to-day activities because you have elected them. But who keeps a check on the government? The one of the acts that was there not to keep a check on the government, but to take information from government was government or government authorities was RTI Act of 2005. But there should be some authority which keeps a check on the government that there is no corruption going on, government and government officials. So, Anna Hazare movement or India Against Corruption campaign, they demanded a Jan Lokpal bill or Lokpals and Lokayukta to be created all over the country, separately for state governments and separately for a central government who will check corruption at central and state level respectively. So this was known as anti-corruption movement, India Against Corruption, and which was led by Anna Hazare in 2011. All right, so the entire nation came together. If you remember, around 2011, there were candle marches going on all over the country, and it was a silent protest that went on for many days. The entire nation came together and stayed by him when anti-corruption activist Anna Hazare launched a hunger strike in New Delhi, Jantar Mantar, on 5th April 2011. Now, moving on to the next question very quickly. Beej Bachao Andolan was spearheaded by which of the following activists? I think this is going to be a tough one for you, but since the exam is for NABARD, so I expect that you know answer to this. The answers that I'm getting as of now, they're wrong. The option A, Vijay Jardhari. Option B, Baba Amte. Option C, Anna Hazare. D, Ela Bhatt. And E.V. Ramaswamy. All right, Virat. For those of you who have gone through PYQs or previous year questions, very good. You know the answer to this. I don't understand that why are you typing answers E and D for it? So, kindly, YouTube students, kindly let me know in the chat section what's your answer. And many of you are typing the answer A. So, yes, the correct answer is option number A, but the option is not just important. Mr. Vijay Jardhari, his name is not just important for Beej Bachao Andolan. What he did is also important. See, when Green Revolution happened in our country, the basic feature of Green Revolution, if you remember, was HYV seeds, that is high yielding varieties of seeds. It was believed that the seeds that we were using before Green Revolution in India, they were not all producing high yield. So a lot of seeds had to be sown, a lot of area had to be covered to generate small quantity of wheat or rice. So high yielding varieties of wheats, they were a high yielding variety of seeds, they were imported. Patents were taken, patents were being paid for, and these seeds were imported. But it was realized by a group of people in Uttarakhand that these high yielding varieties of seeds, they are basically not good for the environment or for human health. So what they launched was Beej Bachao Andolan. Let's say you are sowing a seed today, and today somebody comes and says that the seed that you have sown will not give you good amount of crop produce. So will you sow it in the next season? You will definitely not sow it. Will you keep it for the next season? Probably for 1 year, 2 years, you will keep it safe. But after that, you will just discard it or you will stop using it. So what happened? The traditional varieties of seeds which were prevalent in India, which were good for, which were producing the kind of wheat and rice which were good for our health, they actually were going extinct. So to protect that, to prevent that, Beej Bachao Andolan was launched by Vijay Jardhari. So This is a snapshot for you. Initiated and led by social activist Vijay Jardhari and started in Jardhar Gaon of Tehri district. Very important for you. Please remember, since a question from here has already been asked. Uttarakhand in the late 1980s. This is a picture of him, protecting the traditional seeds. So in the late 1980s, the movement was initiated by the group activist of Hemwal Valley of Tehri. Please remember the name Tehri, and led by a farmer and social activist Vijay Jardhari. Or it is also known as Save the Seeds movement. Very important for you. And this is this is what he said in favor of Beej Bachao Andolan. Everything has been explained. Read this out for yourself. There will be no problem once you download the PDF. Now, a very important topic which I covered in phase 1 discussions as well. Multiple examinations have asked question from this area. Consider the following statements regarding particularly vulnerable tribal groups, PVTGs in India. So this is going to be a tough one for you if you haven't attended my classes or if you have never studied about particularly vulnerable tribal groups. So PVTGs reside in 18 states and 1 union territory. Option 1. Option 2, a stagnant or declining population is one of the criteria for determining PVTG status. So basically, they're a group of people who have a stagnant or declining population. And that is one of the criteria of identification. Is it right or not? This you have to see. Then there are 95 PVTGs officially notified in the country so far. Now you will be like, ma'am, this number is so hard to remember. Do we have to remember it? Yes, you have to remember. So how many such groups are there? 95, more or less? Is this right option or not? Then Irular and Konda Reddy tribes are included in the list of PVTGs. All right. That is option 4. If you do not belong to South India, I doubt that you might not be aware of this one. But the first 3 options should be very clear to you. And on the basis of that, you should be able to mark the right answer. So all of you, I'm not receiving any answers for this. No answers to this question, neither on Zoom nor on YouTube. So option 1 says 1, 2, and 3. Option B says 2, 3, and 4. Option C says 1, 2, and 4. D says 1, 3, and 4. And E says all of the above. So first thing, PVTGs, particularly vulnerable tribal groups, I'll tell you what they are. They are basically, let's say you have tribes. All right. In the tribes, you have scheduled tribes. Which do not have, a lot of advanced measures or access to basic resources. In the scheduled tribes, what you have is PVTGs or particularly vulnerable tribal groups, and these are 75 groups which have been recognized by Government of India. They say that their population is going down. They do not know how to practice modern agriculture. That means they do not have any means to sustain themselves and they cannot practice agriculture. Their population is going down, which means they will go extinct with time. That means 75 such communities or groups are there in the country. So this option, that is 95 groups, that becomes clearly wrong. So I will delete all the answers which talk about option number 3. So your answer comes out to be 1, 2, and 4. That is C. Now coming on to the first one. Do they stay in 18 states and 1 union territory? Yes. 1 union territory of Andaman and Nicobar and other 18 states. And Irular and Konda Reddy tribes, even if I'm not aware of this answer, now I know that 4 is the right answer. So the answer is C. So this is one of the snapshot of these groups. You can read this out for yourself. 75 such groups have been identified. There is also a scheme or a scheme of the Government of India that's running development of particularly vulnerable tribal groups. It is run by Ministry of Tribal Affairs. And central assistance is given. That is 100% money is given to the states for the protection and development of these, for the welfare of these particularly vulnerable tribal groups. And how many states are getting it? All the states in which these tribal groups actually stay. That is 18 states and 1 union territory. So what is the aim? To have their socio-economic development in a comprehensive manner so that they can retain their culture and heritage and so that they do not go extinct with time. So as part of the scheme, state governments undertake projects that are tailored to cater sectors like education, health, and livelihood schemes to make them independent so that they do not, their population does not dwindle with time. All right. So yes, the idea of social justice requires that Option number A, equal treatment to be supplemented with the principle of proportionality. Option B, due and equal consideration is given to all individuals. Option C, equality of treatment be transcended to recognize special needs. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1, 2, and 3, 1 and 3 only, 2 only, 2 and 3 only, and 3 only. Let me know in the chat section, what do you think social justice entails? Equal treatment be supplemented with the principle of proportionality, or due and equal consideration should be given to all individuals, and equality of treatment should be transcended to recognize special needs. So yes, all of you, many of you say answer option A. Many of you are on with D. I will quickly, let you know what is the answer option here. The answer option is A, that is 1, 2, and 3, all of the above. See, until unless a specific definition is asked, see, social justice, it is a very broad concept. So all the good things that can be covered, which provide equal opportunity or equal treatment or due consideration or equal consideration to everybody, they can be considered a part of social justice. It does not have a black and white definition. It will always have a gray area of definition, and more things can be added with time. So such questions, they basically always have all of the above as the right answer. So yes, moving on to question 18, which of the following are correct, is or are correct with respect to various constitutional and legislative provisions for the welfare of persons with disability? People with disability, they have seen a lot of development with regards to the resources available to them, with regards to facilities available to them in the past 5 years. So this topic is important for you. First of all, do you know any provision in the constitution which talks about equity, establishing equity for disabled population? So option 1 is, the constitution in the schedule of subjects lays direct responsibility for the empowerment of disabled persons to the on the union government. So is it the responsibility of just the union government to empower these people? That is a question mark for me, because I feel state governments and local governments have equal role to play. So wherever I see option 1, I will be, very suspicious about that option. Then India has enacted a legislation for persons with disabilities and their participation in nation building. Is there any legislation, so to say, that India has enacted for these people, to help out these people, to protect their rights? So obviously there must be some legislation, since disabled people, they are very important parts of our society. So I will mark this option as correct. So wherever I see option 2, I will be very comfortable about it. The Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities in the Ministry of Minority Affairs was set up with the sole purpose of welfare of persons with disability. So option 3 is something you need to know about. See, here option 1 is going to be wrong. So the options that I have left is B and E only. And your answer is E, because no department can be set up with the sole purpose of benefiting just one section of society. Many sections will be obviously included. So 1 was wrong, because it is the duty of state governments also to help the disabled, to empower the disabled. And the Department of Minority Affairs, even if you don't know why was it set up, it cannot be just for solely helping disabled people. So your Article 41 of Directive Principles of State Policy, which are, which part of the Constitution covers Directive Principles of State Policy? 4 or 3? 3, 4, or 5? Which part of Constitution? Yes, part 4 of Constitution covers DPSPs, and Article 41 says that the state means not state government, the government shall make effective provisions for securing right to work, education, and to public assistance in any case of unemployment, old age, sickness. So whosoever people are unemployed, whosoever are sick, whosoever are disabled, the state or the government should provide effective measures for them, so that they have adequate employment and public assistance. All right, so that everybody can live together, nobody is left out. And the subject relief of the disabled and unemployable is specified in state list of 7th schedule of Constitution. So basically India signed a convention which was known as United Nations Convention on Rights of Person with Disability, and according to that convention, India had to enact a law before, and it enacted a law. India enacted a law called Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act in 2016. Before that also we had a law, but since we signed this convention in 2007, so we actually modified our law. We acted more number of disabilities into that law, and more provisions for their empowerment that were added. So the focus on disability is shifted from a medical model. Previously, we were looking only the medical model of disability. Now it was recognized that disabled people have human rights and more human rights than a normal human being. So human rights model of disability was brought in. So these are some of the initiatives for disabled people. The most important here is Sugamya Bharat Abhiyan, in which all the government buildings and government infrastructure has been made accessible with the help of ramps and other facilities for disabled people. Your RBI has launched Money app for identification of currency notes. You can scan the notes if there is a blind person or visually impaired person. They can scan those notes under that app, and that app tells them that which currency note it is. So this is a snapshot for you that number of disabilities were increased by this act to 21, and you can read this out when you download the PDF. Now, which of the following areas is not covered under Schedule 6 of the Constitution? When I was teaching Schedule 6, I told you that 80 these four are the states which are covered under Schedule 6 of the Constitution. Now, you'll have to tell me what is the full form of 80 Is Assam covered, Meghalaya covered, Tripura, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram? Out of these five, which one is not covered? So I think since I've told you M and M, in Northeast there are two states by the names whose names begin with M. So Meghalaya and Mizoram, they are obviously covered. T for Tripura, again in Northeast, one of these states. So Assam and Arunachal Pradesh, they are doubtful. So most of you are typing the answer D. YouTube students, kindly send me your answers since there will obviously be a lag. YouTube students, I'm waiting for your response. Okay, so basically Assam is part of Schedule 6. Arunachal Pradesh is not a part of Schedule 6. So your correct answer or incorrect option, incorrect state is D here, which is Arunachal Pradesh. So as you can see here is a picture of the states, of the regions that you have. Regions under sixth schedule and sixth schedule of the Constitution. Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram. Basically, these states, they have certain tribal areas. The entire state does not have a tribal population. No state can have that. Some states do have that, but there are some parts in normal states also which have a huge amount of tribal population. So government has to be functioning a little differently for these states, and how it has to function, or local government, how it has to function. It has to function in accordance with sixth schedule. And which are these four states which are covered in schedule sixth schedule, where local government functions a little differently? These are 80 Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram. All of you kindly, shut your cameras. All of you who are live on Zoom, I see that, there can be different postures. You could be watching this video at, but it actually disturbs other aspirants. So yes, thank you. There is one more video I can see. Kindly please shut this. Kindly shut your video when you're about to give the feedback. Then you can turn your video on. Akshita, kindly please close your video down. All right. In which of the following Indian states or union territories there is no population of scheduled tribes? Option Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, or Pondicherry. Option 1, 2, and 3, that is A. B, 2, 3, and 4. C, 1, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. E, only 1 and 2. There is no population of scheduled tribes. So yes, this is a simple question. This has to be crammed by you. All these four options are correct. That is option number D. D is your right answer here. So there is no ST population in three states: Delhi, NCR, Punjab, Haryana, and Puducherry and Chandigarh. So all these options are correct. Kindly note Delhi, NCR. There are no STs or ST population in Delhi, NCR. Please remember this. Then now we move on to again some important aspects of our constitution. There shall be equality of opportunity for all citizens in matters of relating to employment or appointment to any office under the state. Under the state means any government. Is assured by which article? Article 15. Does it talk about equality? Yes, it does. But does it talk about equality of opportunity? That's a question for you. Article 16, Article 17. Article 17 talks about untouchability. Article 14, yes, talks about equality before law. Article 19 talks about right to freedom. So my option or my answer here becomes yes. Many of you are typing A, most of you are typing B. B as the answer. So yes, the answer here is correct. Answer Article 16. See, in NABARD grade A examination, you will not see very tough questions from the static portion. Let's say from Indian polity also, you will not see very tough questions. Kindly cover part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and part 4A of Constitution in detail. Just remember what are the basic important fundamental rights. And also remember the important DPSPs. We'll be covering the important ones here. So yes, fundamental rights. If you see, Article 12 defines what is state, because your fundamental rights can be are given to you by the state or by government. It is responsibility of government to ensure fundamental rights for you. So government's definition is mentioned in Article 12. Then in Article 13, which there are some rights or laws which are in derogation of fundamental rights, not very important. Then right to equalities, it is covered in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 articles. So these articles, they are very important for you. Why? Because social justice is part of your syllabus. Even if you cannot remember rest parts of the constitution, kindly remember this and some of the DPSPs that I will be talking about. So Article 14 talks about equality before law. Article 15 prohibits discrimination on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Article 16 is the question in place here, that is equality of opportunity. That means you have equal rights of employment, equal rights of public employment, that is to secure a government job. Then abolition of untouchability, that is Article 17, and Article 18, abolition of titles. That means sir and madam cannot be used behind people's names. Or if you're awarded something, let's say somebody is awarded Bharat Ratna, then they cannot write their name as Bharat Ratna Mr. XYZ. So kindly download the PDF to read this out. Which article of Indian Constitution provides protection to scheduled castes and scheduled tribes for social justice and all forms of exploitation? Again, very important for you. As you can see, fundamental rights are not here. Fundamental rights are covered from Article 12 to around 32 or 33. All right. So fundamental rights are not here. So basically, their welfare is provided as a part of DPSPs or Directive Principles of State Policy. Now, which is the article which provides for protection to scheduled castes and scheduled tribes for social justice and all forms of exploitation? So yes, many responses coming. D, C, D. The correct answer here is from DPSPs, that is Article 46 of Constitution. Article 343, 282, they do not provide any rights or any, compulsions for the government, or there are no directive principles. That has to be Article 46. So Article 46 talks about promotion of educational, that is equal education should be provided to SCs and STs, and economic interest. That means employment. That should be duty of the state to provide equality to these sections of society in terms of education and employment, and other weaker sections also, not just, in other weaker sections, you can also cover women who lack access to education. So all the reservation for women, for weaker sections of society, for economically weaker sections of society, they actually flow from Article 46. Which article of Constitution provides for a social order based on justice? Again, very simple for you. Which article of Constitution provides for a social order based on justice? Article 39, Article 38, Article 40, Article 45, and Article 42. So basically, the answer here is Article 38. It provides the fundamental bedrock for social justice in the society. It says that the state shall strive to promote the welfare of people by securing and protecting a social order, by ensuring social, economic, and political justice, and by minimizing inequalities in income, status, and facilities and opportunities. So all the social justice part of your syllabus, where is it coming from? Where is it coming in your syllabus? Where is it coming in the heads of government? It is coming from Article 38. In the previous article that we read, that was about Article 46 that we did, that was specifically with regards to SCs, STs, and other weaker sections of society. All right. Here in Article 38, no particular sections are mentioned. Basically, the entire social justice, the concept of social justice in terms of income, status, and facilities and opportunities flows from Article 38. The rest of the articles you can read, but I would suggest that Article 40 is very important for your exam. What is Article 40 about? It is about organizing village panchayats. Organizing village panchayats. Why should be village panchayats organized? Because direct government is possible. You elect the you elect the sarpanch, or you elect you elect your leader of panchayat, and you can directly ask for returns or rights from the panchayat. So establishing panchayat is a mandate under DPSP's Directive Principles of State Policy. In which article covers it? Article 40. So now this is the list of DPSP's Directive Principles of State Policy. Kindly remember Article 38 here, Article 39 here, Article 40 here, which is Organization of Village Panchayats. Living wage for workers, that is Article 43. Article 44, Uniform Civil Code for Citizens, that has been in news. And kindly go through the entire list of DPSPs at least once, so that whenever you see a question, you are able to answer it. You're able to answer it well. Sudarshan, kindly please close your video. Kindly please close your camera. So now a very important and a little tough one. I'm sure this is going to be very helpful for you. The government enacted the Panchayat Extension to Schedule Areas, PESA Act in 1996. Which one of the following is not identified as its objective? What is the PESA Act about? If you're not clear, basically, your 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment, what did they do? They organized, basically, they provided constitutional status to panchayats, and 74th gave constitutional status to municipalities. So after every 5 years, elections to panchayats and municipalities are being conducted. We all participate in them. So this basically gave a constitutional status. These two amendments, they gave constitutional status to local government, that is panchayat and municipalities in your country. Now I told you that there are certain areas which have a lot of tribal population. So the way panchayats are being organized in other parts of the country, they cannot be organized the same way in tribal areas. They need to have more rights, because tribal people, they have their old ancient traditional practices, and they have a very different culture. So to basically to provide them with local government, this panchayat extension to schedule areas, under this act, panchayat, the components of panchayat or the features of panchayats are being extended to schedule areas. So this is known as PESA Act 1996. Now what do you think should not be its objective? First of all, provide self-rule for the bulk of tribal population. Even if I've not read this act, I feel this should be true, because self-rule in a democracy, that is the fundamental, that is what we are trying to assure with the help of local government. So yes, this should be there. Then safeguard and preserve the traditions and customs of tribal communities. Obviously, this should be a part of it. That's why a separate act has been enacted. Then prevent panchayats at higher level from assuming the powers and authority of panchayats at lower level of Gram Sabha. Yes, we want lower level government should have many powers, so that powers can actually rest in the hands of people, in this case, the tribals. So I think this is also correct. To create autonomous region in tribal areas, let's see if this is correct or not. Extend the provisions of Part 9 of Constitution. Part 9 talks about panchayats. Extend the provisions of Part 9 of Constitution relating to panchayats to schedule areas with certain modifications. If you look at the name of the act is Panchayat Extension to Schedule Areas. So option E is also correct. The only option left with us is option D. So to create autonomous regions in tribal areas, this is not given in PESA Act. So here, if you look at Part 9 of Constitution, it talks about panchayats. You can also, for all of you, I always say, please refer to at least Part 1, 2, 3, 4 and 4A. Please remember what are they about, and you should be sorted for your exam. So, all right, kindly read the explanation later for this. Now, a very important question from the census. We are waiting for the next census that was supposed to be held in 2021, but the latest census data that we have available is from 2011, and this census data is very important for you. So according to the 2011 census, what is the child sex ratio? The child sex ratio, that is sex ratio of children of 0 to 6 years. As per 2011 census, what is it? 943, option A, 933, option B, option C, 909, option D, 919, option E, 965. What is it? For all of you typing on YouTube, kindly, kindly type the option number also. Kindly type the question number also. For 25, you're saying A, that is 943. Many of my Zoom students, paid students say option 9, option D, not option 9. So the answer is D, that is 919. That's the correct answer. So in 2001, that is the previous census, the child sex ratio was 927. Now in the latest census, that is of 2011, it is 919. So basically, what is child sex ratio? It is given here that the sex ratio of children between 0 to 6 years. Given below are two statements, and you might see this question exactly. It is a high probability that you might see this question exactly. So, first of all, I would tell you that there is an assertion given. Assertion means a statement has been given and a reason has been given. First of all, you have to identify, is the statement correct? If the statement is correct, that means A is correct. Is it the reason that I have given for that assertion? Is the reason correct? If the reason is also correct, means both are correct, and reason is also the reason for the assertion given. So there are basically 5 options marked here, based on which one is correct, which one is wrong. So if both A and R are true, if assertion and reason are true, and R is the correct explanation of A, then your answer becomes A. If R is not the correct explanation of A, but R is correct, so your answer option becomes B. If A is true but R is false, reason is like, you feel that's a silly reason. So then that becomes option C. Now A could also be false, but R is true. That is option D, and none of the above also you have here. So assertion says the labor force participation rate is falling sharply in recent years for females in India. Is that right or not? Right or not? So you will have to look for assertion. The reason for this is the decline in the labor force participation rate that is due to the improved family income and an increase in education. All right, so if you look at reason here, you might feel that they are basically what they're justifying this statement. That means statement A or assertion has to be right. But see, sometimes NABARD might also just fool around. So they might give a reason which makes option A or assertion appear correct, but it might not be so. In this case, what is the right answer? For answer 26, many of you say A is true, but R is false. A is true, yes. Employment rate for women or for females in India, that is falling. So assertion is true. So my options left are D and E are out. A is true. A is true. A is true. So A, B, or C. Is R true? That the reason is that, family income has improved and education also has improved for most of the people. So women don't need to work. Can you feel that? Do you think that's the right answer? That cannot be the right reason. The right reason is that accessible jobs for women are not there. So your option C is the correct answer. That is, assertion is true, but reason is wrong. The correct reason is lack of suitable work, especially for women, is not readily available. They'll have to migrate to bigger cities to find adequate work, or they'll have to commute on a daily basis, or they'll have to work full time to be able to take jobs. And managing personal life, that is family with work, is very, very hard. That's why women are opting out of jobs. So your C is the right answer. Question number 27. Consider the following statements: dowry demand, sex selective female abortions, and lack of empowerment of women. Which of the following are the correct reason or reasons for low sex ratio in India? Do you think, okay, I see the answers E coming a lot. That is lack, all of the above. Let's see, sex selective female abortions. Yes, female abortions, when they're sex selective, obviously they will lead to low sex ratio in the country. That's why Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao scheme has been launched. Lack of empowerment of women. Lack of empowerment of women means if a woman is pregnant, she'll not be able to choose whether she wants to get the fetus aborted or not. Whether, she wants to save her or feed her girl child properly or not. So yes, that could also be one of the direct and indirect reasons. Can dowry demand be one of the reasons for less sex ratio in our country? It is not apparently the direct reasons, but it is actually a direct reason. People do not want to spend a lot on dowry or on marriages of their daughters. That's why they go for sex selective female abortion. So all of the above, that is E. Yes, Anjali, that's right, because then women are perceived as financial burden. So your answer is E. That's yes, that's right, Sejal. Pooja, that's right. Now, which of the following are correct, is or are correct about gender budgeting? Very important question for your exam. First of all, it is a tool for gender mainstreaming. Second, gender budgeting uses the budget as an entry point to apply a gender lens to the entire policy process. Third, gender budgeting also recognizes that if gender disparities are to be addressed, adequate monetary allocations are to be made for the achievement of desired outcomes. So, see, look for the safest options. It is a tool for gender mainstreaming, or it is an entry point to apply a gender lens to the entire policy process. So, whatever policies are being created, they should be friendly for the women as well, or for the gender that we want to empower. And basically, it focuses on monetary allocations to be made for achievement of desired outcomes. So most of the answers, they feel good. They are all, there is no harmful option. There is no option which you cannot justify. So the answer for this would be D. That is about your gender budgeting. Now, what is the rationale behind gender budgeting? That women account for 48% of the population, which is almost about 50%, but they face disparities in access to and control over services and resources. So first thing, policies should be created by women. Monetary allocation should be there in every policy so that women can be preferred. So bulk of public expenditure and policy concerns are in gender neutral sectors. And basically, to improve that, to provide more human rights to women, because they are mostly deprived. Now, when people from one country move permanently to another country, for example, if people from India move to Germany, then for Germany, it is termed as immigration, emigration, in-migration, out-migration, or none of the above. Option A, B, C, D, or E. All right. So many of the people say option A is correct. Most of you say option A. Many of the people also say that option B is correct. So let's say this is India, this is Germany, and a lot of Indian population is migrating to Germany because of free education. So yes, let's say there is a person A in India, he goes to Germany and settles completely there. So for Germany, basically this is a process of migration. So for India, what has occurred? For India and for Germany, people are coming in. So that is immigration. That's why you talk about immigration offices. All right. So the answer is A. So immigration and emigration. When people move from one country to and permanently to another country, that is known as immigration. Whereas for India, what will India call it as? India will say, yes, this is a process of migration. So India has gone through emigration. So if you move out from your country to permanently settle into some other land, that will be known as emigration for your country, while for the other country it will be immigration. All right. So this is an explanation you can read out for yourself later when you download the PDF. Then which of the following is or are consequences of migration? Again, very simple. Increase in remittances. Can migration lead to increase in remittances, or the money that you send back home when you migrate to a new place? Will you be sending more money to your household, or anybody will he be sending remittances to their household? Development of slums in urban areas. If your migration is unplanned, can development of slums in urban areas occur because of high migration? Alteration of age and sex composition of states. Do you feel that northern states have older people while southern states have younger people, because most of the young population is going to southern states because of the IT industry, or vice versa? Then social changes do occur because of migration or not? People want to marry late, people have different perspectives about various rules of the society. Then physical and mental stress on women. This is going to be contentious for all of you. Does migration cause physical and mental stress on women? So options are there in front of you: A, B, C, D, and E. Kindly choose your answer as soon as possible. Then we'll move on to the next question. We are left with 10, and we are left with almost 40 minutes. Yes. Okay. So the answer to this question is E, all of the above. I would like to clarify here option number 5. Under the gender equality or gender issues part of your syllabus, it has been recognized that yes, migration does cause physical and mental stress on women. Can you give me some example? Feminization of agriculture. Why is this happening? If you have heard about feminization of agriculture, that agriculture is now being carried out or being practiced more and more by women. Why are women practicing agriculture? Because probably their husbands, their sons, they have left the rural households and they have gone to cities in search of employment. Why? Because agriculture is not very remunerative for Indian farmers. So when men are the first ones to migrate, when they migrate to cities, women are left behind. That causes them mental and emotional stress and physical stress because of the additional burden of the farms or of the household that they have. All right, so kindly be aware about all these options in your exam. Then suburbanization, that is your next answer. Suburbanization refers to which of the following processes? Suburbanization, what is it telling? Is a urban area developed within an urban area or outside an urban area? Increased growth of slums in urban areas, option A. Option B, emergence of big megacities like Mumbai. Uh, I think this is urbanization. This should not be suburban urbanization. Option C, people spreading out from urban centers in less congested and cleaner surroundings. So we can keep this. Option D, planned settlement in urban areas for particular communities like rich and middle class. If you are giving me answer to what suburbanization is, you'll have to give me answer for what D is known as. All right. So yes, answer option C is coming a lot. You're welcome, Sejal. So for answer number 31, kindly let me know in the chat section. What does suburbanization refer to? So basically, this is your city. What it has a lot of jobs. It has a lot of houses, infrastructure. All right, industries are there. Yes. Now, people who are rich, let's say people who are doing well, what they want is they want a house for them. They want houses for them in a peaceful, serene area where they can also be protected and safe. So, what happens? Small urban centers develop around cities, and these small urban centers, they have direct linkages with the main city center. So in these small urban centers, what is the facility there? Cleaner surroundings are there. Let's say trees will be there, view of hills will be there, if you know, for example, in case of cities like Chandigarh. So basically, isolated areas are being developed around a bigger city or a bigger urban area for these people who can afford to stay in those cities and commute. So that is your suburbanization. People spreading out from urban centers and less congested and cleaner surrounding, because they feel that we are earning enough. We are what we want is we want to lead a good life, good and healthy life. So suburbanization, I'll clean the screen for you, is a trend rising as an alternative for congested cities. For example, many people say that big cities are, they have polluted air, polluted water, so we don't want to stay there. So instead, what do? They actually buy some place. They actually buy or rent houses in some places which are close to these cities, and these the upcoming of these centers is known as suburbanization. So, under these people, cities are spreading out to other surrounding rural areas and including them as urban areas. For examples, extension of New Delhi as New Delhi capital region. NCR has expanded, manifold in the past 10-15 years to include areas of Noida, Faridabad, Gurugram, etc. That is one of the examples. The correct solution is people spreading out from urban areas into the less congested and cleaner surroundings. So, option C is the right answer. What do we call option D? What is the term that we have for option D? That is, inside an urban area, inside a big cities, there is coming up of societies which are gated, which are only affordable or accessible to only rich people. There is 24/7 electricity, water availability, safety is there. So what are these planned settlements in urban areas called? Yes, gated communities. These are known as gated communities, and they reflect status in the society. All right. Or class divide in the society. Now, which one of the following statements regarding census towns is correct? Again, this definition is taken from 2011 census. This will be covered separately in our current affairs as well, but this is a static question. So, minimum population of 5,000 according to census of 2011. What is a town? Does it have a population of 5,000? I don't think so. 5,000 can be, a population of, let's say, a large village as well. So at least 50% of the Again, this is questionable here. At least 50% of the male main working force engaged in non-agricultural activities, which means 50% of the people are still practicing agriculture, or male main working force. Males, 50% of the males are still practicing agriculture. So if half of the population is practicing agriculture, will you call it a census town? Again, that is questionable. Then population density of at least 400 person square per square kilometer. Let me know in the chat section what is the correct answer. What is the correct answer? Option A, only one. Option B, only two. C, only three. Option D, only one and two. And option E, only one and three. All right. Rahul says option E, because this is contentious. At least 75% of the male, according to census 2011, for a census town should be practicing non-agricultural activities. 25% is still doable, the rest of the 25%, but this percentage here is not 50%, this is 75%. So eliminating all the options which have option 2 as the answer, your answer is only 1 and 3. So yes, a population of 5,000 is also doable. That is not for villages, that is for census towns. And a population density of at least 400 persons per square kilometer. All right. So basically, a minimum population of 5,000, 75% of male main working force engaged in non-agricultural activities. Population density, again, there are 3784 census towns in the country according to 2011 census. So this is close to 4,000. So kindly remember this number for your exam. Now, which one of the following types of migration has contributed most in population movement in India in 2011? So this is data from census. So they're saying that which one of the following types of migration has contributed most in population movement? Highest amount of migration is coming from which areas? Rural to rural areas, that people are moving between villages, or urban to rural areas, are people moving from cities back to villages? That is questionable. Rural to urban areas, urban to urban areas, or none of the above? So many of you say that the answer option is C, that is rural to urban areas. The answer is rural to rural areas. People are moving the maximum. Yes, people are moving from rural to urban areas in search of jobs. That is right. But we are talking about 2011 census. That is the change that occurred from 2001 to 2011. We are not talking about 2011 to 2023. That is not the data. When we have the latest data, yes, this figure will change for sure. But if you talk about 2001 to 2011, many people were moving between villages because females were moving between villages because of marriages. So they also account for migration. And men were moving between villages because one village, let's say some of the facilities were available in the village itself, in like a neighboring village, some business facilities, some MSMEs. So rural to rural urban migration actually topped the list. Vidisha, kindly turn off your video. All right. Yes, Rahul, that's right. And they accounted for people moving from one rural area to another, accounted for half of the total internal migrants. Also, if a question comes that female migration was highest in which of the areas, rural to urban, urban to urban, that was again in rural to rural areas, and the primary reason was marriage. After marriage, women have been seen moving from one village to, or one rural area to another rural area. All right. So your Mumbai and Delhi, they took the highest number of migrants, like most of the immigration. That's a misnomer, but in migrants were there. Most of the immigrants were there in Delhi and Mumbai. So India is regarded as a country with a demographic dividend. This is due to which of the options? Its high population is in the age group of below 15 years. That means below 15 years, mostly they are children. They're considered as children. Its high population in the age group of 15 to 64 years. Its high population in the age group of 65 years, above 65 years. Its total high population, this could be a confusing question for you, confusing option. Its high population in the age group of 20 to 80 years. So demographic means something that's related to population. Dividend means profit. So your population is becoming profitable. When does a population become profitable? When more and more people of your population, they can work, they can contribute to economy, they can contribute to welfare. And dependency ratio, that is the number of children and the number of old people which have to be cared for, they are less in the country. So less than 15, I told you, obviously dependency ratio would be there. And beyond 60 or 65, yes, dependency ratio is high because of health issues. So the correct option is B here, that is working age population. Yes, all of you on YouTube, Nilesh, Sejal, Navya, Shri, Pooja, that's right. So again, long explanation for you. Download the PDF, read this out for you. I've explained everything here. In 5 stages of demographic transition theory, this is a tough one. The stage in which the birth rate continues to be high but death rate declines rapidly. Which stage is it is? And I expect a lot from Zoom students because you've taken phase 1 classes with me. Theory of demographic transition, there are 5 stages. Which stage has death rate declining rapidly because of benefit or advancements in medical facilities, but birth rate continues to be high because the society is still dependent on agriculture and people are still having more and more children? Which stage it is? Stage 4, 1, 2, 3, or 5? A, B, C, D, E. YouTube students, again, type 35 and with that type the option. All right, bye says option B, that is stage 1. Stage 1 cannot be the answer. Nilesh says 35, D. Many of you say stage 3. See, stage 2 is the right answer for this. That is that is option number C. Now look at this part. This is again, both are the same graphs representing theory of demographic transition. Look at this part. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stages. The upper line represents birth rate, lower line represents death rate. In primitive societies, a lot of children are being born because there is lesser security, there are lesser medical facilities, so a lot of children die also. So what parents want, they want to have more and more children. So because of disease and famines, more and more people are dying, so death rate is high, birth rate is also high, and your population stays small. With time, death rate comes down because of medical facilities, improvements in medical care, water supply, sanitation, etc. But still, people are adjusting to the new normal. They don't feel secure by having just 1 or 2 children. They feel that they are practicing agriculture and more hands are required for that agriculture. So, and children might die if adequate facilities are not available. So birth rate still continues to be high. This is the question. That's the question which is here. So in this stage, basically what happens, less people are dying, more people are being born. So your population actually starts to increase. And in the third stage also, you see birth rate actually comes down because people learn, yes, there are advancements in technology, but still it falls down very slowly. This is where India lies. That is in stage 3. In this, picture, India is mentioned in stage 2, but we are somewhere in stage 3. And China would somewhere enter stage 4 in the coming years, in the coming decade or so. So this is where stage 2 and stage 3 is where population explosion occurs. All right, so stage 2 is the right answer. Again, Manam, kindly turn off your camera. All of you, please kindly note, turn off your cameras. I have so many students here online on Zoom. I cannot ask everybody. It disturbs other people when you have your cameras on. So the number of children aged under 14 and old people aged 60 or 65 and over in a population as a ratio to the number of adults, that is number of children, and number of adults upon number of old people, that is 60 or above, that is, and this children, they are less than 14 and lower. And here you have adults which are between 14 to 60. So their ratio, what is it known as? Labor force, working population ratio, dependency ratio, unemployed population, or none of the above. Now, if you look at this part closely, I have people who are 14 years or less than of age and 60 years or above. And they are being taken care of people who are between 14 to 60 years of age. That means this section is dependent on this bottom line, that is people who are between 14 to 60 years of age for their survival or for their welfare. So what will it be known as? What will this ratio be called? Labor force? I don't think so, because children and people above 60 or 64, they do not form part of labor force. Working population ratio, yes, that can be said for the denominator, but not for the entire thing. Dependency ratio, I will keep this option open. Unemployed population, we are talking about the entire population here. So this is not unemployed population and none of the above. I'm not considering this answer. So what do you think is the right answer for option 36? Let me know in the chat section. Many of you right answer C. All right. So answer C, yes, that's the right option. That is your correct answer. That is your dependency ratio. That is number of children, number of old people divided by number of people who are between 14 to 60 years of age. That is dependency ratio. Now, question number 37. This is going to be the fourth last question. As per the National Population Policy 2000, by which year is it aimed to stabilize the population in India? By which year is it aimed to stabilize the population in India? We just have one population policy working as of now, which is the National Population Policy of 2000. So there were some aims of National Population Policy, and one of the aims was to bring total fertility rate of the country to replacement levels, that is 2.1. That was one of the aims of National Population Policy, and that has somewhere been achieved. But National Population Policy also said that India's population will peak around some year, and that is when it will stabilize. For example, if I have to take you to this graph, so if let's say this is a graph for India, so India's population will peak at this level. After that, it will be stable, and after that, it will start to decline. Which year has it been predicted by National Population Policy? Which year will it be? So many of you say, Pratiksha says 2050. Many of you say D, A. Option D is 2047. Some of you are writing option A. See, the correct answer for this option is not 2050, it's 2045. So kindly remember this, very important. So National Population Policy provides a policy framework for achieving goals and prioritizing strategies during the next decade to meet the reproductive and child health needs of people of India, and to achieve net replacement levels of total fertility. And it aims at stable population by 2045. So that's your right answer. Now, according to Malthus's population theory, epidemics, natural calamities, and war are known as. We didn't like Malthus theory a lot when we were preparing for phase 1. We said that yes, it talks about a pessimistic or a negative model of population growth. But there were 3-4 terms that I asked you to remember. For the paid students, I'm referring to them. I asked you to remember the term positive checks. I asked you to remember that resources are increasing in arithmetic progression and population will multiply in geometric progression. So what are these? What are epidemics, natural calamities, and war known as according to Malthus's population theory? So all of you, I'm getting the answers from Zoom. Most of you are typing answers, options A, B, D. Most of you are typing option A. For people on YouTube, kindly let me know. Meditation E is not the correct answer. YouTube, for people on YouTube. So basically the correct answer to this option is positive checks. Malthus said that let me display this graph. It says that your resources will increase in AP or arithmetic progression. They will not multiply with time, though they will add up with time. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, that is 2, 4, 6, 8. They will add up with time. They will not multiply with time. But population, what it happens? Population multiplies with time. So resources are increasing in arithmetic progression while population is increasing in geometric progression. And population graph, as you can see, it has taken over. Population has risen steeply to take over the slowly increasing resources. Now, what happens when population takes over resources? Resources or nature will not be able to accommodate such high level of population. What happens? Diseases occur. Like the COVID-19 pandemic. It has been said that after every 100 years, we receive a pandemic, so that their population remains in check. Again, that is a very negative way to look at population growth and population statistics. That's why we study the demographic theory of transition. We do not refer to Malthus theory a lot, but that's important for your exam. Some terms. So it says, Malthus says that famines, diseases, these are basically positive checks. They kill people, and hence the population and resources, they come at par with each other. Parity is observed. So Malthus believed that positive checks to population growth in the form of famines and diseases were inevitable. Why? Because they were nature's way of dealing with imbalance between food supply and increasing population. Now, which of the following population policies decided the minimum marriage age as 21 years for males and 18 years for females? Obviously, minimum marriage age was decided to avoid child marriages in the country and to control the, increasing, or I would say expanding population explosion in the country. There are no negative checks, Dave. There are just positive checks. There are no negative checks in Malthus's theory of population. All right. So, which of the following population policies decided the minimum marriage age as 21 years for males and 18 years for females? Okay, many of you say option number A, that is National Population Policy of 1976. A again. YouTube students, let me know your answer. 39. Sejal says the answer is D or E. That is national population projections of 2020 or population projections of 2015. See, these are like, redundant options, because we know this, minimum marriage age has been in time for since long. So in 2015 or 2020, this was not made applicable. It was surely one of the three options, or out of A, B, or C. So your correct answer is National Population Policy of 1976. Kindly remember it. It is not the National Population Policy of 2000. It is not the latest National Population Policy. It was of 1976. So finally, fourth one, this is going to be a long one, and this is a question regarding secularism, very important from multiculturalism point of view. I have not taken questions with regards to multiculturalism today, because during phase 1 also, Kritika ma'am took ESI marathon, static marathon. Kindly refer to that as well. We've shared a lot of questions during that ESI marathon. It is available for free on YouTube. So a lot of questions from social issues and economy were discussed there. These are totally new questions. So multiculturalism was discussed in detail there. We are not repeating any questions. You can be asked just 1 or 2 questions from multiculturalism. Bante hi itne, and they will also be asked or not. We are not, relying on that a lot. So according to secularism in the Indian Constitution, which of the following is or are true? Point number 1, that one religious community does not dominate other. Second, that some members do not dominate other members of the same religious community. That the state does not enforce any particular religion nor take away the religious freedom from individuals. That the state completely detaches itself from religion. So many of you say option B, and yes, the correct answer is option B. I clicked on it by mistake, but let's study this for our exam. So the first option says one religious community does not dominate other. Legally or constitutionally, one religious community or one religion cannot dominate the other religious community. In your country, you cannot say that my religion is better and your religion is inferior to mine. Constitutionally, you cannot do that. All right, so this option is correct. That is 1 is correct. All right, then that some members do not dominate other members of the same religious community. That inside your community, let's say you and your friend belong to the same religion, you cannot tell your friend that because he comes from a different caste, or she is or let's say she's a girl and you are a boy, or he is a boy and you are a girl. Inside the same religious community also, nobody can dictate the other person that they are inferior to me. All right, so that is what it means. That is part of Indian constitution, that is enshrined as part of secularism. That the state does not enforce any particular religion. State should not enforce any particular religion. That is, there is no national religion of India or state religion or religion of any particular state. Nor take away the religious freedom of individuals. All religions have equal right to practice and profess. To be practiced and professed. That the state completely detaches itself from religion. So no decisions of the state, that is government, will be based on religious means. They can be for welfare of people of different religious communities, but they cannot be solely based on the idea of religion or from motivations coming from religious perspectives. So I think all of the above, that is option number E. No, all of the above is not the right answer. Option B, that is 1, 2, and 3. That is the right answer. State has to detach itself from religion. That is your option number 4. But complete detachment means the state will also not frame laws with respect to religion if there is some discrimination going on. So this is a model in Western secularism. that if you go to countries like USA or any Western country, they detach themselves completely from the religion. But if you remember some judgments of Supreme Court, that, for example, temple entry for women in certain temples where they were not allowed to enter. So in certain cases, when when the government sees that there is some amount of discrimination going on, in that case, the government does not have to detach itself completely. It can actually get inside the roots of religion and frame laws to promote equality, liberty, and freedom in the country. All right, so your option 4 becomes wrong. 1, 2, and 3 is the right answer. All right, so that is about current affairs session. Sapanpreet, since you are a paid student, you have got this in you've got this in your schedule. Constitutional provisions regarding secularism. So secularism was not a word that was, or a concept as a part of your constitution earlier. It was added by the 42nd constitutional amendment. 4 plus 2 is 6. That is 1976 constitutional amendment. It added the word secular in the constitution. It also added the word socialist and integrity. Tomorrow, we will be studying the Indian political system and left out topics of social issues. We'll be taking questions from that part of the syllabus, and more clarity regarding your phase 2 examination, which questions are important. You will get it around that. So yes, Virat, that is right. Sabrimala historic judgment. So that is when state intervened in conduct of religion. Now, if you have any doubts, let me know in the chat section. For all of you who are following EduTap for descriptive writing session also, that is Perspective 360 degree. Perspective 360 degree, nowadays it is focused on NABARD specific topics. So today we are covering poverty estimation in our country. Are we doing it the right way? So that session will begin at 5 p.m. I will be taking it live on YouTube. So all of you who, I see a lot of you from that live session. So all of you who want to benefit for the descriptive part of your phase 2, kindly join me on that session during for that session. Yes, Ponab, PDF would be available in Telegram, on Telegram. Till then, if you have any doubts, let me know in the chat section. Zoom and YouTube students, it's for both of you. Thank you, Sapanpreet. Thank you. If there are no doubts coming, then I will call this a day. Strategy, bhakti, yes. Like what topics to focus on and have high importance. See, current affairs are important. Descriptive writing will be important. Kindly follow Perspective 360 for that. Cover all the topics that we have covered there. Prepare according to the syllabus. The static part should be prepared according to PYQs. Look at which sections of the paper see the maximum weightage. So divide your day according to, when will you be doing current affairs, when you will will you be doing descriptive writing, when you will be doing covering your static part. Divide your day into like 2 or 3 categories, and then plan according to the importance of topics. Thank you, Meghna. You haven't enrolled. G Tehara, just book a strategy call for availability of notes for phase 2. All right. Thank you, Anjali. That means a lot. Shivangi, cover the summary sheets, or if my videos are available to you, kindly go through my videos for phase 1 that we took, or if you are if you're a subscriber of our gold package. So YouTube students, no doubts coming. All right, Muskan, Shivangi, thank you all of you. Telegram link for YouTube students, it is available in the description below. Kindly click on it. It will take you to a Telegram channel, and the PDF will be available in some time. We don't make it available like right after the session. We make it available by next morning or after a few hours. All right. So yes, YouTube students, I will see you live again at 5 p.m. That is within 12 minutes for Perspective 360 degree for discussion on the topic poverty. Take care and all the very best for your exam.